Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Whitney Ward. All right, we are just a few days away now from the Sweet 16, so we want to begin our broadcast with a little Gonzaga trivia. Are you ready? Here it is. Chet Holmgren set the school record by averaging how many blocks per game in 2022? Take a look. Do you think you know the answer? We'll let you think about it for a moment, and we'll have the answer for you here in just a few moments. First, though, the Zags are now on the road to the Sweet 16, and fans not far behind. KREM 2's Janelle Finch is live on the GU campus, where students and fans hosted a big send-off for the men's basketball team as they now head out to California. Hi, Janelle.
Hi, Whitney. That is right. The team is officially on their way to San Francisco. And if you know anything about Zag Nation, you know that their fans are not far behind. I spoke with fans today who are planning on joining the team in San Francisco as they take on Arkansas. Since the start of the tournament, fans have been cheering on the Zags both here in Spokane and on the road. From campus watch parties to waving Jimmy Fallon rowdy rags in Portland, fans have made sure to support the Zags every step of the way on their journey to the championship. And the Sweet 16 is no different. Earlier today, the Zags left for San Francisco to take on their next March Madness challenger. One fan planning to meet them there is Rick Clark. He says Zag player Rasir Bolton's family personally invited him to travel with the team.
With his family and getting to know them, they've invited me to some of the other games, like in the tournament. So I got to go to the Portland games, and they said, Rick, if you can get down to San Francisco, we've got a ticket for you. And I was like, I will find a way to San Francisco. I'm not sure I can make it to New Orleans if they make it, but I want to go, just root them on and just have fun in San Francisco for a few days.
Bolton and Clark's relationship grew through the GU seniors' work with Clark's nonprofit Giving Backpacks. Clark, Bolton, and other team members were able to bring backpacks to donate to the homeless while in Portland. Clark's trip to Portland was his first time at an arena larger than the McCarthy Athletic Center. He says he can't wait to join Gonzaga in California. Also joining the team on the bus were family, staff, cheer team, and band. In Spokane, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
She mentioned the band, and there they are, the Gonzaga Bulldog Band back on the road with the men's basketball team. And it's a big deal because, of course, the last 2 years they had to stay behind because of COVID restrictions. So senior band members are relieved that they will get to perform in person for their final year. At the same time, they're training up new band members since many of them are traveling with the team for the very first time.
I would have been pretty bummed out if I didn't get at least one more crack at it.
The last 2 years or 3 years, the band has just continued to build up their energy for coming back. And so the Gonzaga band was already pretty well known for bringing a lot of energy to games. But I feel like somehow this year specifically, we have just absolutely pushed that out of the water with our excitement to be here.
Also coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 5, our Amanda Rowley will share just how much the band has looked forward to once again representing Gonzaga in person at the NCAA tournament. Just a few weeks ago at the WCC tournament, Brenna Green sat down with Larry Suggs, the father of Jalen Suggs. He was in town to watch the games because he coached Chet Holmgren from a very young age. He said he just wanted to be there to support him. So Brenna picked his brain a little bit about the potential #1 NBA draft pick that he's watched grow from a little to now a tall young man.
It's been amazing, from a long, gangly kid at third grade to be running so gracefully down the court and making moves and finishing with his left hand. It's been a sight to see.
Larry Suggs has been privy to many sights of Chet Holmgren over the years. As someone who knows his story almost as well as his own family, Larry has a unique perspective on Chet that most others don't.
One thing that I liked that Chet was doing this year was his leadership. That was one thing that we talked about, build up on, and you can see his growth through every game. And I think he'd be able to help lead the team to a title here coming in the next few weeks.
Larry credits Chet's growth on that front to two other players who are also contributing significantly to Gonzaga's potential title run.
How much have you seen him come out of his shell?
I've seen him come out a lot. I told him to lean on Drew Timme and Andrew Nimhart. Those guys are older. They've had all the experience. So anytime you need to bounce a question off of them, those guys could be able to help you. So as far as his growth on and off the court, I think it comes from the leadership from those two.
Chet also learned growing up from a great leader in Larry's son, Jalen. Having Chet win something Jalen got so tantalizingly close to last year would be special for the entire Suggs family.
It would mean a lot to Jalen if Chet was able to win the NCAA championship. Coming from our program, from where we started basically out of our garage with 7 kids, to come all the way to this level and possibly have 2 back-to-back top 5 draft picks, that would be pretty incredible. So me and Jalen are really rooting for him, and everybody back in Minnesota is also.
And that means more GU games could be in Larry's future, provided more wins are in Gonzaga's.
We're definitely planning on traveling a lot with the Zags. Once you're a Zag, you're a Zag for life. And so hopefully we make it down to Louisiana and we see everybody down in the Superdome.
So Brenna Green just landed in the Bay, and we'll hear from her tonight coming up at 5 and at 6. But now it's time to answer our Bulldog trivia question from the top of the show. Earlier we asked, Chet Holmgren set the school record by averaging how many blocks per game in 2022? Well, the answer is 3.6 blocks per game. All of them so fun to watch. He also tied the school record for blocks in a game with 7 against Dixie State on November 9th. So here's what we know. The Zags taking on Arkansas this Thursday. That is coming up right here on KREM 2. Tip-off is set for 4 o'clock, and you can join us early at 3 o'clock right here on KREM 2. We'll have a Bulldog Madness special, and then following that, we'll have a very special edition of KREM 2 News at 3:30, leading into the Sweet 16 game. All right, there's that. Now let's turn things over to Jeremy Legoo as we talk about kind of a change in weather. Yesterday was chilly. We all agreed we wanted it to warm up, and today we're starting that trend, right, Jeremy?
Oh, we are. We're already up near 50 degrees, Whitney, and it's one of those days where we're basically going to try to squeeze out the warmth as close to the end of the day as we possibly can. We sit right now at 49 under cloudy skies. It's just not really working. We're trying to get rid of some of this cloud cover. Not really happening until you make your way into central Washington, Wenatchee, and Moses Lake, up near 60 because of some of that sun. That sounds lovely, but don't worry, we get that tomorrow. Temps in the upper 40s in North Idaho. And here's that cloud cover. Notice you can kind of see the backside of it, but we are building some of that in as it moves in from kind of the north and the west with our current weather pattern. Eventually, we'll start eroding some of that cloud cover from the south. Looks like it waits until after the sun goes down tonight. We'll get a little clearing. A somewhat chilly morning tomorrow. Very warm tomorrow during the day. A round of scattered showers later on in the evening. That's as the front itself passes and eventually moves out and opens the door for drying and warming to stick around through the remainder of the week. Look at that, though. Overnight, we fall down to near 40, and tomorrow we're up in the 60s. I'll walk you through it coming up in the full forecast.
Looking forward to that, Jeremy. Thank you. Coming up next, Spokane Public Schools says there isn't a policy of advising teachers not to call police, but newly obtained school district documents suggest otherwise. What those documents are showing and what the district has to say about that, coming up next. Also coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 6, a cold case investigation. It took 62 years to solve the murder of Candy Rogers. The 9-year-old little girl was brutally kidnapped, raped, and killed back in 1959, and no one was ever arrested for the crime. But just a few months ago, Spokane police announced DNA evidence led them to the man responsible. We spoke with cold case detectives, and for the first time, Candy's extended family sat down with KREM 2 for a TV interview. You've said that this hasn't necessarily brought closure to you.
No.
What has it brought?
It's not closure, but at least there's some form of satisfaction there knowing that the person that did it is at least named.
We'll hear more from Candy's family and the investigators who never gave up on the case. That's coming up only on KREM 2 News at 6.